Okay, this is kind of a challenging question, and I found it interesting. We're going to do it. They show four different ways in the memo to do this question, and I did it actually slightly differently than they did it, but the first version is closest to the way that I did it when I did it the first time. And so we're going to look at that one first. Okay, it says if n is the largest number for which n to the 200th power would equal 5 to the 300th power. Well, if you try 5 to the 300th power in your calculator, it'll get kind of upset because it can't handle that kind of giant number. So we have to use the laws of exponents. This is kind of what I did. I looked at this and I thought, I think somehow we've got to make the bottoms here, instead of the tops, let's make the bases the same. If I made this n squared to the 200 to the 100th power, that's n squared to the 100th power, and I made this 5 cubed to the 100th power, they'd both be to the 100th power. Now, the only way these things could be equal to each other, so we have to solve out we have to solve it for what n would make it equal to this side first. The only way they could be equal is if n squared equaled 5 cubed. Well, you want to get what about n, so you square root n squared to get n, and the square root of 5 cubed, you can put that in your calculator, and it's 11.18. What's the largest number it can be? If it's 12, it won't be less. So the largest number must be 11. That's pretty well the way I did it. But hey, I think it's sort of useful to look at the other ways to see how many different ways you can use the laws of exponents and surds, and you can even use logs to do it as well. Um, but let's take a look at their second version. What do they do first? Okay, they start off, and the first the first two things they do exactly the same, but then they change n squared into 125, and n squared has to be less than 125. Well, 11 times 11 is 121. So 12 times 12 is 144. So all we really need is n squared is n squared being equal to 125, and the first n value that'll make it less than 125 must be 11. So that's pretty similar. That's pretty similar. But let's look at this method here. What if we did this? What if we raise this each side to the 1 over 200 power? That would make it n right away. Hey, that would be pretty good. And then what if we put this into our calculator? 5 to the 3 over 2. Well, there it is again, 11.18. Look at that. By making it n to the 200, if we raise it to the 1 over 200, both sides we put to the same 1 over 200. 300 divided by 200 is really 3 over 2, or 1.5. And if you go 5 to the 3 over 2 in your calculator, you're going to get 11.18, and the first number less than that is 11. Well, three ways to do this question, and we could do it with logs as well. There's a way to just put a log in front of n and then manipulate it. Anyways, I'll leave it at that, though. You could look in the memo for yourself to see how you can use logs to do this question as well. Okay, I guess that's it.